Welcome back, Bears fans, to another episode of the Chicago Audible. We're officially in our first game week of the season, and before we dive into our game preview, we're going to do this video-only episode that's all about the NFL jerseys. I'm Earl Slidowit, and today I'm joined by the man behind the brand, our graphic designer, Jordan Grimes, who's also a jersey aficionado. So much so, he's created a ranking for all the NFL's teams' jerseys for the past 2 seasons, and we thought, why not share his rankings here on the channel this year? So Jordan, man, what's up? It's great to have you on. I know usually you're like behind the scenes, so to have you in some
That's true.
fan-facing interaction, it's pretty cool.
It's great. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Yeah, things are great. Football's upon us, right? So we got a couple more days to the NFL season's coming up, and like you said, we had some fun last year creating an article for the NFL uniform rankings. So it's a little bit outside of our normal Bears talk, but I think it's a fun aspect to bring into the podcast here. And yeah, super excited to talk about this year. We got some new elements in the uniforms to talk about that shakes up the rankings in a way.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was excited perusing them before we did this episode, seeing how they did change. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to jump in. And so let's go ahead and just do this thing and find out what your
Great.
rankings are. We'll work our way from the bottom up, like most ranking episodes
Exactly.
tend to do, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and unveil number 32, which we have the Atlanta Falcons. So, Jordan, why are they the ugliest uniform in the league?
Worst uniform in the league, for my opinion. Yeah. So things that are going in my mind when I'm looking at this uniform and specifically is just the update that they did, the helmet and the jersey top specifically. So if you're looking at the helmet, you've got in terms of the change from the last uniform, you got the gray of the silver face mask, you got the bigger Falcon logo, and then the glossy slash matte helmet finish. So those updates don't really work for me. So you have a new introduction of that color to the face in terms of the face mask not working for me. But the biggest thing for me is the jersey itself. So looking at the big ATL across the front, it looks collegiate, it looks goofy, right? Not working for me at all. And so that and also the actual numbers as well. They have a newer number font happening on this uniform, and the biggest thing for me is when numbers look confusing in terms of not reading, being legible. So one of the examples is looking at Todd Gurley on the left of the examples that I have here. 21 is his jersey number, but if you look fast enough, it kind of looks like 27 or some other stuff, right? And
Mm.
so it's not quickly, those are the things that are running through my mind of like good uniform design is it legible, is it clean, and those things. And so you got the helmet, uniform, the jersey, and then on top of all that, you introduce this gradient that they have as well as another element. So when you add all this up, I think it just really detracts from things that are working for them. So not liking this uniform, if you could tell.
A little bit. I mean, we are at number 32, so
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Jumping in over to
Mhm.
number 31, we're going to New York, and it's the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are 31, similar to the Falcons. They have the big, word mark across the front of the uniform. So again, not a fan of that. I thought, Nike and the NFL and the teams would learn and not try to do that from previous uniform designs, but they went ahead and did it here. Not the worst uniform, but I think again that large word mark is not working. They introduced a new logo for the helmet, so that's cool. But they also have a more generic and block number font as well, so I think that is working. So one last thing about the Jets is it's great to see teams really own a color palette. And previously, the Jets really owned the green and white previously, but then when they introduced this new uniform, they added black to it. And I thought it was unnecessary. I think it really crowded uniform elements in their brand in a way. And so having black in terms of the number outline or an all black uniform, I think too much. And so I think they could have kept it simple and they would have got higher in my ranking if they were just a simple green and white.
All right, moving on to number 30, going out west to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals. So they have not updated the uniform in a little bit. I follow a bunch of uniform designers. I see a bunch of concepts out there. So maybe there's something in the works for them. They have a lot of young talent on their team, young head coach. So possibly something in the works for them. I'd be excited to see that. But basically, their look is dated. You have a lot of piping on the sides and on the shoulders of the pants and the jersey. Simple helmet, that's fine. But again, I think it's just the jersey and the uniform details that look dated that yeah, could use an upgrade.
Ooh, are you going to work on an upgrade yourself? I know you like to do those sometimes.
I Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I do dip my hand in that arena, and so I think yeah, next off season, this team and some other teams I have in my backlog for yeah team uniform updates. I'm excited to dig into this one.
Right on. Let's go into the 20s now. Number
Yeah,
29, the Miami Dolphins.
yeah, Miami Dolphins. So not bad in terms of their primary and their primary home and away uniforms. You got solid color set, not too busy in that regard. But I think what really wins for them is their throwback, that aqua throwback. People love it. You get the new the block numbering going on. You get the helmet decal and those things. Thinking of Dan Marino and all that. So I think it's nostalgic, but not too crazy in the primary home and away uniform. So not the best, not the worst, but 29 is where they sit.
All right. Moving over to 28, heading to Texas. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Houston Texans.
Houston Texans. Yeah, let's talk about the Texans. So they're one of the newer teams in the league, and they have not, updated their uniform much, which is a good thing in my opinion. Not to be having a lot of turnover for, team identity and team uniforms, and so they're solid. Not too many things going on. Got a unique font for the numbers, which is always fun, and just a solid helmet as well. You get the big decal on the helmet, and not too many things going on in terms of face mask color and striping. So solid, but mediocre.
Solid but unspectacular.
Yeah,
Which that
exactly.
sounds like, well, not really the Texans this year. Perhaps we'll see
Mm,
how it all shakes
we'll
out.
see what happens.
That's right. So moving down to number 27, we're going to a cat, and it's going to be the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers, they have a lot of good things going for them, and I wish I could rate them higher, but what detracts them, in my opinion, is just some of the jersey elements. So you have really small TV numbers on the shoulders. You'll see that in the Christian McCaffrey example there. They're teeny tiny, and I don't know if it was the striping detail that they have that really reduced them, or the collar color, something. But I think if they're going to be that small, might as well not have them, or adjust the composition of the number to better fit the area. But that retracts from it. You got the different shoulder striping. So like sometimes they're wider, sometimes they're thinner, they're inconsistent. So
Mm.
that's a detractor. But the helmet is solid. So you have a silver flake helmet. You got a unique dual stripe going on down the middle that kind of fans out, which is a nice element, as opposed to a default stripe that goes all the way through. And yeah, I like how they incorporate black. It's not there all the time, but they do use it here and there. So solid, but again, it's just some things they can clean up that really improve them.
Okay. So for number 26, we're going back to the Big Apple. So New York is on the
Mm-hmm.
bottom-ish yet again, and now we're looking
Yeah,
at the Giants.
yeah, Giants. Let's look at these. So they're simple for their home uniforms. You got the blue uniform top, and then the white numbering for the jersey number, then the blue helmet as well. So solid stuff there. I think when I'm excited to see the Giants is when they actually use that throwback. So the Saquon Barkley example on the right, you have the white jersey, blue numbers with the red striping on the outside. Then the helmet changes a little bit. So you have the red stripe down the middle still, but you get that pop of the white face mask and the new logo type of Giants, the throwback there. I think that really works. But you know, taking a step back to the default home and away, they're okay in that respect. I really like their throwback.
All right. Let's go down to number 25, and that is the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, Denver Broncos. So good stuff here. They have orange as their primary. They did that some years back, so that's very vibrant. I remember when the draft was in Chicago years back. I think it was 20. I forget what year that was, but seeing the fans walk around the city of Chicago wearing the Broncos jerseys, I didn't realize how vibrant that orange was in person. Seeing it on screen is totally different than in person. But
Sure.
yeah, they have orange as their primary, white as the away, and then navy as the alternate. What detracts for me on them is the side panels again. They're pretty hulky in the way that they come up into the collar, and then you have the contrasting collar color as well. It gets kind of heavy in that regard, but some things that are working are the unique number styling. So I love that, and then the throwback is nice as well in terms of getting the horse D logo on the helmet, and then the jersey update too. So okay stuff, but looking at number 25 here.
All right. Jumping down to 24, heading over to New England, we have the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriot way. So they updated their uniforms fairly recently. I'm not in favor of their uniform update compared to what they came from. So went with heavy stripes on the shoulders of the jersey and then down the leg of the pants as well. I believe the helmet is the same, and they even updated the numbers as well in terms of the jersey number styling. So okay stuff here, not the best. Again, I think it's a step back in terms of what they are coming from. But it's the Patriots; they can kind of do whatever they want, right? So
they've earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, number 23, we have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati is actually I think the only team that had a wholesale change to their uniform, so that was exciting. And I think it is an upgrade from what they came from. So some of the details to look at here, the helmet did stay the same. So you have the Bengal stripes on the helmet, then the black face masks. That's fine. Cincinnati, people love that. And looking at the actual jersey, that's where they simplified it. And that's what I think is really winning for them in terms of simplifying the jersey color, not having the two-tone on the shoulder to the base, and then the actual striping on the shoulders as well. That's good. And the way that NFL uniforms really work today is just having different color combinations. So different jersey top with different pant color and those types of things. So they have a lot of different combinations, but they have that going. And the last detail is the numbering, similar to what they had before, but they killed the drop shadow, and then they just angled some of the terminals, the endpoints of the number. So on the 9, you'll see the angle, and then maybe on the 5, you can see in another example of that as well.
All right, jumping down to number 22 here, Jordan, you have the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills, so solid uniform here. This is they're bringing a slightly new aspect to their uniform this year. Nothing on the jersey or the pant that I'm aware of, but on the actual helmet itself. So they're going to have the white face mask as the primary go-to for that. They tested it out a couple times last season, but they're actually making it the primary look this season. So I think it does look better doing that. And I do like their throwback. It's slightly different than their primary home and away, but I just like the Buffalo detail and those things. But yeah, solid stuff from Buffalo.
All right, jumping down to 21, going to LA for the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers, they got a lot going on. I talked about different uniform combinations before with the Bengals. The Chargers, they might have the most the most uniform combinations you could put together with the helmet styling, uniform top in terms of the jersey, then the pants color as well. If you actually look and track their uniform stuff here, I think you actually kind of see it in the images I grabbed. The bolt color and the number as well match the jersey top as well. So I really like that detail. It's just something to look out for. You have the dark navy all the way on the right with number 89, but then another example is 84, where you have the lighter blue, the powder blue. And so I think those things really just tie a whole uniform together. But although I do like that, I think there are just too many things going on, too many different combinations to kind of sift through. I didn't want to waste all the space here putting them all here. So
yeah, they seem to have a hefty amount of those alterations, without a doubt. Let's go on to 20 now, and that is the Washington football team.
Yeah, so Washington removed all their native marks at the beginning of last season, just right before the season started, if I'm remembering correctly. And so they went very simple with the uniform in terms of the jersey and the pant, but basically just put the jersey number or the player number on the helmet itself to kind of round out the look for what they wanted to go in last season. They're going to do it again this season, and then I'm anticipating the beginning of next season having new team name, new uniforms, and all those kinds of things. So we'll see how that looks. I'm excited to see what they roll out in terms of their new uniforms, but ranking at number 20 for this year.
All right, we'll jump inside the top 20 now, and we're going to stick with the NFC East, and that is the Dallas Cowboys at number 19.
Yeah, so Dallas Cowboys, solid stuff here. Nothing has really changed in recent years. And when I think of the Dallas Cowboys, I think of Thanksgiving, I think of turkey, and I think of big stars on shoulder pads. And so they always roll out that look for Thanksgiving, and I love to see it. It might be kind of gaudy, but it's just something that's nostalgic for me just to see that. And their primary home and away uniforms, solid stuff there as well. Coming in at 19, nothing too much to complain about.
All right, number 18, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans. I did like their update that they did, which is what the current look that we have here. I think where they could have improved or gone a different direction is the actual number font in terms of the weight, the thickness of it. So it's pretty thin, in my opinion, for how they they treated it. And then also they have this detail of like, I think they call it the Tennessee spur or something, in terms of they have a little wing on some of the number forms to kind of represent Tennessee in the top right of different numbers. And so I think if you remove those, beef it up, make the numbers more simple, I think this would definitely be a winner, because I love the hits of red here and there, and the use of the blue, the two different kind of blues, the navy and the powder blue there. So regardless, it's number 18 for me.
Number 18 it is, going into number 17, and then we'll jump into the top half of the league. So to round out the bottom half, or the top half, number 17, Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings, first NFC North showing here. They have solid stuff. I think what really detracts for me is the quirky detail about when you have a double-digit number, they have like these Viking horns on the leading character. So if you look at Justin Jefferson's number here, you have the 1 with the horns leading into the negative space of the 8. Same thing on Dalvin Cook, the 3 leading into the next 3, and the horns leading into that space. I think it's a good idea. I think it'd be cleaner without it, right? But otherwise, solid stuff. They've been very consistent on their uniform update when they had it. And I don't think they have a throwback this year at all, but hopefully in the future they got some good stuff to work with, if so.
You're critical when it comes to numbers.
I am. I am. And if you look at some of my stuff, I love to create my own, or like you say, critique it all. But I think it's the identification of the player, right? And so they're in multiple places: helmet, the base of the jersey, the back, the front, or the shoulder pads for the TV number. So I think it's crucial to have good ones. And so, not working for me on these Vikings.
All right, let's move over to number 16. We have the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, Saints got, new quarterback stuff going on, new era for New Orleans here. And so solid stuff. They do run out with the mono black look, black top, black bottom, black socks and all that. And I think it's just a good look across the board for them. What's really working is their throwbacks. So they have heavier weighted jersey numbers, and then the stripes on the shoulder pads. The gold doesn't necessarily match up to the helmet in terms of the gold on the jersey to the helmet, but they might be able to fix that years to come here. But solid set for the Saints.
All right, jumping in over to number 15 now. We're going to go to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, Cleveland Browns, I think they stepped up their game tremendously when they updated their uniforms last time, and so a couple years ago. And they simplified the numbers. They kind of went back to their traditional stuff, which is what you see on the left, the brown and then the white here for the primary set. But then they're also introducing a throwback uniform this year as well, which you'll see on the right. They have the white stripe down the helmet. You got the gray face mask coming back, so that's nice. And then I think, talking about jersey numbers, I like the drop shadow that's happening there. Looks very Cleveland. And so I think it's a solid set top to bottom, and, middle of the pack at 15.
All right. Number 14, we have the Green Bay Packers.
Boy. Oh, man, the Packers, solid stuff. They have they still use a very old jersey template in terms of the actual material used and those things. But kind of like the Patriots, they can kind of do whatever they want. They've had a Hall of Fame quarterback play for years, and so I'm sure the uniform updates and those things are the last thing on their list to update or do. And so solid stuff, good use of color, really owning that green, yellow, and white. They did recently introduce a throwback that they're going to roll onto the field once or twice this year. Details on that is going to be just a yellow shell, so no G logo on there. You got a gray face mask, and then yellow and green on the jersey and the pants. So we'll see. It kind of looks like Oregon Ducks and some other college teams, but we'll see what it actually looks like. I like how they call back to previous years, though. So we'll see what they do.
We'll see. Number 13, we're going to Kansas City for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kansas City. So solid stuff here again. Simple details on the helmet logo, and then the jersey details. I like the consistent striping you have on the shoulders that lead into the pants in terms of the details there. And they've always had the AFC patch. Not many teams do that and keep a consistent patch on the jersey. And so I think that's always a good look because they are one of the, founding teams in the NFL. So good look for them. And they'll be set for years to come with who's at the quarterback, right?
Yeah, that doesn't hurt them one bit. All right, number 12, we have the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks. So when they rolled this look out, their current look, I believe it was when Nike took over for the uniform contract, and they went, to the nines on the details in terms of the the gloss pattern on the helmet against the matte base color, the jersey details with Seahawks across the chest and new numbers, and even that alternate lime green jersey, which is my wife's favorite uniform. I think every time it's on TV, she loves it. But I think they do this all in a tasteful way. You can easily go overboard on the details, so it just doesn't work. But I think they really pulled it all together for Seattle, and so sitting high at number 12 here.
Absolutely. Number 11, Jordan, you have ranked the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers, they have very simple and clean home and away uniforms, but they also have two throwback uniforms. The one on the right, the all-white one that they've had in the past, but this year is going to be the first for the red throwback, which I think is going to be a good look. They have a good set across the board that they're going to have at their disposal, and so, yeah, clean look, classic.
Yeah, very much so. Still reminds me of Joe Montana out there. All right, so jumping into the top 10.
Oh, top 10.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 10.
There we go. Great. Yeah, Tampa Bay. So fresh off the Super Bowl win, coming in top 10 here, number 10. And this is technically a new uniform, but really they just went back to what they had previously from their previous uniform set. So solid stuff here again. They have that pewter alternate, which is okay, but I really like the home and away primary, the red and the white jersey tops and all that. So again, probably going to be a look that's going to be here for years to come. So looking good.
Looking good, Tampa Bay. Jordan, at number 9, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars, they recently did theirs. A whole crop of new uniforms the past couple of years. I really like this one out of all of them. They do have that unique color of teal, and they're actually owning it more this year in that they're making teal their primary home uniform, which is great. Solid and simple in numbers there happening for the jersey, and then just the natural gloss black helmet with the black face mask. So solid look. Really like what they've got rolling on in the field.
All right, number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, so the Steelers, they haven't changed as much in the past, but they did recently have this new block alternate uniform, which is all the way on the right here. But I think they've got really unique things going on with the slant of the numbers. I think that's working really well for them. And again, success on the field makes it easy to keep what you got going on. So I don't know when the last time they've actually changed anything, but solid look for the black and gold.
We forgot the H on Pittsburgh, but we apologize to the Steelers fans out there on that one.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, I should have proofed these with before we actually did the show.
I've got a couple in here. They're Easter eggs for people to find. I found a couple myself, so we're all right.
I just pointed it out. Darn it. Yeah, I should have kept it a secret.
No,
let's move on to number 7, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, number 7 in Philadelphia. They've got really good and simple things going on with their uniform. Heavier on the number details in terms of you got the fill, you got the outline, then the drop shadow. But I think, again, they simplify it around that. So, no striping on the shoulders and those types of things. I really like when teams use multiple logos for their entire uniform. So you got the eagle wings on the helmet, then the eagle head mark on the shoulder pads, and then nothing really going on in the pants, which is great. So I think just as a whole, it's nice. And they introduced the black uniform, which is natural because they do have black in their logo and their team branding. So it's not, black for black's sake and all that, but good set.
All right. Number 6, the Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders. So again, I talked about the Jets at the top of this episode in terms of own a color set, a color palette. And I think the Raiders do the best of that, just owning the silver and black. That's what they're known for, right? And so really good stuff going on with the helmet. Usually when teams change locations as well, they find that opportunity to change their uniforms as well. And they did not do that. And I think it's for the better. They have really solid stuff over the years. So nothing much to say. They're tried and true Las Vegas Raiders.
That they are. Let's jump into your top 5, Jordan. Number 5, Detroit Lions.
Oh, Detroit Lions, here we go. The main detractor on the Detroit Lions for me is going to be their gray alternate uniform. I think for me, it just might be the shade of gray. It's too dark. But otherwise, looking at the primary home and away, I love how they own the Detroit, the Michigan aspect of it in terms of cars and metallic and those things. You got the metallic helmet with the face mask, and even on the blue jersey top, you have that gray metallic number system going on. I think the character design of the numbers is great and unique as well. And so I think all these play into it. And good stuff out of the NFC North again.
All right. Speaking of the NFC North, coming up next
Whoa,
at
NFC North.
number 4, our team, the
Our
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears,
So
right? And
you
so,
have to tell
yeah,
people why they're a top 5 uniform and you're not being biased.
exactly. Not being biased because again, the way that they've stayed true to their elements year over year and just owned it, I think, is the main reason why. But then also on top of that, the alternate uniforms that they have. So you have the orange top jersey, and then most recently that 1936 throwback. I think just a great variety of uniform elements going on and options to choose from that I think are working. You have the simplicity of the home and away with the stripes on the jersey, but not on the helmet. Simple logo on the helmet, unique and ownable jersey font. That's always great too. But then again, when you get into the alternates, really sometimes throw you for your curve. All the stripes going on, I'm in favor of for the 1936 throwback, and yeah, just again solid stuff. I know it basically biased, and I've looked and loved this uniform for a while, and so but I think those elements really play true for me.
So curious about those stripes that you like because they do take place of like TV numbers, and I know you're a numbers
Yeah,
guy as we've talked about. So what about
that's
them
true.
stand out compared to the TV number, or why are you more, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
forgiving here on this one?
Yeah, and we've seen, and we'll get the top three actually have a couple examples of this in terms of some teams actually omitting their TV numbers on the shoulders. Is actually might be a theme for the NFL. But to your question, I think the styling of the front and back numbers of the 1936 jersey is so unique and like true throwback. I think that's working for it, but also being true to the reference that these are coming from in terms of where this design is coming from did not have the actual TV numbers going on. So it's true to that, which is great. You're not just making things up, right? And so I think these uniforms can be complicated in terms of stripes on the helmet, stripes all over the shoulders, right? They simplify it when you get to the pants and the sock. There's just solid navy. So I think head to toe, it balances each other out, and so I think it works because it's true to the reference it's coming from.
All right, going down to number 3, we have the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh man, Indianapolis, they recently did these uniform updates. They've been fairly consistent, again, with Peyton Manning and those big quarterbacks at the helm there, but recently updated a throwback type number font in terms of them being more stockier and having more heavier serifs going on. And so I dig that look. It was a small update, but I think it was a great update for the team. Like I was talking about with the Miami Dolphins and their throwback being so great, a lot of fans really, put out there, oh, they should make this the primary uniform and those things. The Colts took a small step to do that, which I think was good for their fans, their fan base, for their primary uniforms. But then also they this year also have an alternate throwback jersey as well that I think has the same number styles, but the jersey stripes are different. So it kind of looks like the Bears in a way. You have the triple stripes on the shoulder pad on the side, but then also on the socks as well. So pulling from some good references there.
There we go. Number 2, Baltimore
Oh man, top
Ravens.
two, Baltimore Ravens. So they've got some unique stuff going on in terms of the variety of logos they use. And I talked about this before. You have the Raven head on the helmet, that looks great, and then you got the crest, the shield on the shoulder, that's different and true to the branding. And then you get the numbers can be heavy in terms of the detail. That's why I did not make them number one. They have the fill color, the outline color, the drop shadow, those things. I think it works, but it's kind of heavy. It might look better updated in terms of removing some of those elements. And then you have the B logo mark on the pants as well. So at the bottom, you look at the stuff as a whole, it looks really good. And I don't know about you, but I think maybe it's like the Ray Lewis era. They play how they look, aggressive and gritty. And so I just love how those two things match up for them.
Oh, that's always nice as well. So, if you're
Mm-hmm.
good at, deductive reasoning and process of
Yeah.
elimination, a lot of people probably know who is number 1 at this rate, but let's go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
unveil it. So, the number 1 jersey in Jordan's eyes heading into this
Yeah.
2021 season is the LA Rams.
Out west, the LA Rams top uniform in my opinion, and Last year, I did not have them nearly this high just because, well, we didn't get a chance to see them on the field yet by the time the article came out. But having a year to kind of take this one in, I really think it's working for them. I find this one similar to not the Rams, the Seahawks when they came out with their uniforms. The first one for Nike, a lot of elements going on, but they work cohesively. So some of the elements that are working for me for the Rams is first those numbers, right? And so they're unique in that they have a base color, but then they have like this gloss finish and detailing that calls back to the logo and the horns and how they turn and those types of things. And so that's really working. They're simple as well. Some of the jerseys do have the side numbers, those TV numbers on the shoulder cap. Others do not, as you can see from the reference photos that I pulled. And just good use of color as well. They have a gradient, but they don't overdo it, in my opinion. I know that can be like, towing the line to do something like that. And the helmet as well, staying true to that ram horn. Slight detail because of the branding update, but I think it's a good move to keep that there because it's typical Rams, right? But one last note, they have the throwback option as well, which is the white uniform all the way on the right side with the white jersey top, yellow and blue cap on the shoulder. So I think it's a really clean and good look.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan, that was your rankings for this season. Well done. And this was a lot of fun to do this in a video format.
Super fun. It's good to go through all this. And like you said, it's just those small details they'd either add or detract from these things. So that's kind of where I'm pulling my rankings from. That's why it changes from year to year, is because there are new uniforms, right? And so some things change, some things don't. And it shuffles things up. And I'm excited to see what it all looks like on the field this year.
Oh, same here, man. Same here. Speaking of seeing it on the field, in our previous episode, Mason, Nick, and I all gave our final record predictions for the Bears. I know you're not on a lot. Do you want to take a stab at it?
Sure. Geez, it with or without Andy Dalton at the helm is really gonna, be a big influence on that, right? But I think also this defense is going to play a big role in keeping us in games and winning games possibly as well. But I don't know. We might go on a similar run to 10-7, like in terms of the 2018 season, in terms of some doubters at the beginning of the season, and actually us showing up a little bit and playing better than others expect. So I think it'll take a lot to happen, but let's go 10-7.
All right. Yeah, definitely a lot will need to happen, but I love the optimism and I appreciate your time here, man. Thanks for hopping on and doing these rankings and sharing them with us.
Thanks for having me. Hope the listeners enjoy this type of content. I know it's a little bit new for the channel, but it's fun to get on and talk some uniforms with you.
Oh, for sure, man. All right, so up next, we're going to get into Meet the Opponent, as we will meet the #1 uniform here in the NFL, the LA Rams, getting ready for our Week 1 game week. So stay tuned for that coming up in this week. And, of course, our game preview episode. So plenty of more content coming your way. But until next time, bear down, Chicago.